Under normal circumstances, I do the whole, fade in and hello, Internet. Well, hello, Internet. I'm the hero of Julios. Once again, with another One Piece chapter review? I don't know. I've thought about changing the name. I saw a comment one time suggesting that I change this from summary to review because I'm starting to summarize less and review more, giving my opinions and things like that. So, but that's not the reason for my, haphazard hello here. This chapter had some interesting things going on. Welcome to chapter 1031, Warrior of Science. And yeah, we get into some interesting thoughts here. So let's start at the beginning. Big Mom has been slammed into the ground by metric tons of steel and iron and other various metals because of Kid's devil fruit, and Kid and Law are standing there, and Law's like, so that's what your devil fruit does? And Kid's like, yep, that's moves the magnets around, and Law goes, yeah, you make someone the new target and make it a lot heavier. He goes, yeah, that's how that works. How long does that last? And he looks at Law and goes, like I tell you, we're, they're still rival pirates. And Law goes, well, it's just kind of, because, and Big Mom comes bursting out of the steel. And yeah, that's, pretty bad. And as Big Mom's getting up, all the Kaido pirates are surrounding her, and she just looks around the room and goes, life or Oshiruko. And of course, all the beast pirates are like, Oshiruko, do we still have some? And they're panicking to look for it, but they're the ones that tipped it over and got rid of it all, so I don't know where they're looking. It's interesting that she said that, though, because for a brief moment, I thought Olin was coming back out to play, and I don't know how Olin would have done against Kid and Law. Fortunately, Oda is not going to throw that trope at us a third time in a row. And instead, I think the Oshiruko is basically to force the beast pirates into not having it, and therefore giving her their lifespan. I don't know exactly how Soul Pocus works. We know that you have to be afraid of her, which they obviously are. And we know she's given these choices before without death involved. Stay or life, or leave or life. So there's always been an ultimatum involved. But regardless, Big Mom just scoops up the lifespans of all of Kaido's henchmen in the surrounding area. Now, what's cool about this is not only does she take their lifespan, but she even pops out a year of her own and then swirls it all together and consumes it. We've seen from Zeus, Prometheus, Hera, and Napoleon just how powerful using Big Mom's soul is compared to using the souls of others. So to take out a piece of her soul and use it in a power-up is devastating. And she even grows. And this is Big Mom we're talking about. My guess is she's probably at least the size of Dragon Kaido, if not maybe halfway point. But she is significantly larger, and she basically tells the two of them, hey, if you're after the throne, then come and take it. My guess? This is the true potential of the Soul Fruit. This is the awakening. And you see surrounding her, the souls of Kaido's men are placed inside of various homies. So not only do Kid and Law have to deal with Big Mom herself, but now they have to deal with this mini army that's around them. And they're on their last legs, because as stated in the last chapter, they do not have any power left. They, their awakenings are their last resorts. Whereas for characters like Big Mom, Doflamingo, awakening is just stage 3. But we do know there's progress. Big Mom admits herself that she hasn't felt this much pain in decades, which means, openly admits, she does feel this pain. So for anyone who was thinking, well, she's invincible, no, the two of them are actually hurting her. So much like Luffy's fight up above with Kaido, Big Mom is fighting for her life down here. Next up, we get a very brief moment of Apu and Drake. Drake has decided to basically help Luffy. Whether it's because Kobe was like, man, you can trust him, or as Drake says, he's upholding his honor by, helping Straw Hat because Straw Hat helped him. Regardless, Apu and Drake are not forming a secret alliance. Apu is just getting attacked. We do learn from Drake, though, that Apu's Devil Fruit attacks seem like they're an omnidirectional blast of power. However, it does have two distinct requirements. One, you have to be able to hear Apu's ability. If you cover your ears or something along that nature, you are basically immune to his attacks. However, the second thing that is important is Apu has to be able to see you. So he can't just walk into a building and then just, pat his chest and just send out a shockwave hurting everyone around him. He has to be directly looking at his target. So I guess the best way to fight Apu is to either blind him or wear earmuffs. I don't remember off the top of my head what Apu's Devil Fruit name is. I'll just put it right here below me. But that seems like a pretty big handicap. But maybe the Devil Fruit is not 100% designed for combat. I mean, look at the human fruit. Like any zone, it increases your durability, but what it really is supposed to do is give an animal human intelligence. The Revive fruit, not exactly meant for combat, it's meant to bring you back from the dead. Not every Devil Fruit has to be some amazing combat weapon. The ability to turn one's body parts into instruments is cool enough as it is. Anyways, as the two of them are fighting, Yamato comes bursting through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man, and immediately starts, looking at the two of them like, oh crap, these are both Kaido's men, I have to get ready to fight. Apu sees an opportunity, looks at Yamato and says, hey Yamato, Drake's betraying Kaido, let's work together and take him out. And Yamato goes, I'm not working for Kaido anymore, and she starts attacking Drake, and Drake blocks her attack and says, whoa, I'm not working for Kaido either. And she sort of just immediately is like, oh, okay, that makes sense, ignores both of them and just continues on. She's a woman on a mission, and she's got to complete it. There are bombs at stake here, people. Now, if this wasn't bad enough for Apu, he looks at Drake and goes, well, okay, that was weird, but I still have 3 numbers working for me. And then the one named Fuga. The number named Fuga goes dashing off in the distance, chasing after Yamato. And Apu's just, I have 2 numbers helping me against you. While the numbers haven't proven themselves to be particularly strong, we may be hitting like the top 3, like maybe Apu took the top 3 best ones with him to do this little secret side mission, or maybe they're all equally strong and they're just more of hit point sponges than anything else. That's pretty much it for what's going on with Apu and Drake. I feel like this was more of Oda's way of just saying, don't forget these two are here. They might be important later, or, they may be integral to something else happening. Maybe Fuga and Yamato, this may be something important, or maybe Yamato will just grab Fuga and use him as a beat stick on Orochi. Who knows? Regardless, that's really all we get for that little cutscene, if you could even call it that. The other big thing we get before the end of this chapter is the Minks are defending Robin and Brook, to the point where Brook even picks up Robin again because Brook is the fastest of the Straw Hats due to his amazing lightweight body, and Brook runs off. The Minks are defending Brook and Robin from CP0. My guess is the fire finally got to the room they were in, and they were just sitting there playing Go, and they looked around, and they were just like, fire has spread to here. Indeed it has, my friend. Shall we leave? Oh yes, let's. Then they got up and they started hunting for Nico Robin. We even see one of the masked dudes use shave and just sort of whoosh, disappear. He's probably going to chase Brook. What's concerning about this is the masked men or women, we don't know because they're masked. The masked members of CP0 are the most powerful. Now, to put this in perspective, for a very long time, people theorized, myself included, that Rob Lucci was in charge of CP0. Rob Lucci is the guy that brought Luffy to his literal physical limit, to the point where Luffy could not move after defeating him. And now this is a Rob Lucci with hockey. This is a Rob Lucci with 2 extra years of training in CP0. And he's not the best in their group. The threats just don't end here. Things are starting to heat up in a lot of different places, and it is concerning. I'm not saying we're going to face a second Ennis Lobby arc of Robin getting captured, but we may be seeing Robin and Brooke in another fight. Maybe the reason the Toby Ropo were so easy to take down was, well, seemingly so easy to take down, is because they're not the last fights. Typical One Piece storytelling for these big combat moments is each Straw Hat pairs off with their individual enemy, sometimes 2 Straw Hats against 2 enemies, and they have their fights, and then they end, and then Luffy's fight ends, and everybody eats a big meal and goes home. Onigashima is not going to be the same. Heck, it's already longer than Dressrosa, and it's definitely going to be longer than that. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is someone's getting hurt pretty bad. And that's how I'm going to segue into this final part of this chapter, and this is the part that is the most interesting to me. We cut to Sanji. Shocked, confused, worried look on his face, and a group of women yelling at him and throwing things at him. In amongst these women is a crying girl with a bloodied forehead. The last thing Sanji remembers is running towards this injured woman, or not injured, this perfectly normal looking woman, who said, "I'm not a member of Kaido's crew, I'm just a geisha from the Flower Capital, I'm just an innocent bystander here." Sanji then remembers nothing, and then there was a woman on the ground, bloodied and in pain. I'm going to repeat that again for anyone who wasn't paying attention. According to context clues, Sanji hit a woman. Is this probably a fake out? Yeah, probably. It's not like Oda to completely break a character. Zoro is always going to get lost. Nami is always greedy, but values her life more than money. So she has been willing to run away from money if it meant not dying. Usopp is a coward who will turn around at the last minute to, fight in the bravery that he wants to have. So to have Sanji start hurting a woman is a big thing. And I just want to drill that in because it gets worse. As Sanji's pondering this, his shocked expression, he starts thinking about his brothers and how they hurt that maid that Sanji was so nice to. And how, as Sanji believes, he is starting to become like them. And Sanji starts putting these puzzle pieces together. I mean, he's been doing it for a bit, but this was the end of it. To make matters worse, the weird tingling sensation he's felt since he started using the raid suit, it has gone away. Which means, in Sanji's mind, this transformation is probably complete. And hitting a woman would definitely be a sign that Sanji is giving up who he is. As Sanji's pondering these things, Queen shows up around the corner and is like, "There you are!" And Sanji's not even paying attention to Queen at this point. Sanji pulls out the little tube that has the raid suit in it. And Queen stands there and Queen's like, "Oh, you're going to put on the raid suit. Hang on, let me just..." Queen just sort of sits there and he's just waiting for the magic of Judge to happen. So he's just sitting there happily. So as Queen's standing there waiting, Sanji starts to ask himself, what would Luffy prefer to have? Sure, he'll still have the original Sanji, a nice guy and an excellent fighter, but Sanji is useless when it comes to fighting women. However, if Sanji gives in, becomes a cold-hearted warrior of science, he could kill anyone on Luffy's command, even someone as big and terrifying as Queen. Which would be more useful to the Pirate King? And while we all know that Luffy would definitely pick the kind-hearted great Sanji that he is, Sanji's sort of having an identity crisis right now with the whole son of Germa and the soulless warrior thing that's starting to happen here. And until whatever happened with that woman gets revealed to him, Sanji may start changing. Well, Sanji takes a look at the raid suit and says, well, if I've already transformed this much... He puts it on the ground and smashes it in front of Queen and says, no further. If I'm transformed, but I ain't going further than that, which is definitely within Sanji. He is definitely willing to turn into a monster for Luffy, but he is not turning into a soldier of Germa for Luffy, or for anyone for that matter. So, that's good news, but it gets worse. Sanji pulls out a transponder snail and calls Zoro. Meanwhile, Zoro is fighting King. Zoro's, holding him off. King's attacking, and it's just a normal fight for Zoro. Till his sash starts... So he picks it up, and he's like, who the heck is this? How'd the transponder snail get in my pocket? And Sanji tells him I put it in there, because I knew you'd get lost, or I thought you'd get lost. So, I just wanted, someone to be able to call you and turn you around. And Zoro is yelling at Sanji because it's like, hey, I'm in the middle of a fight, and he's, the speech bubbles are loud and sharp like Oda usually draws them. And Sanji is still talking calmly. This isn't their usual fight, Zoro. Well, Sanji tells him, hey, Zoro, we're definitely going to beat the Beast Pirates. And Zoro, in the middle of fighting and potentially defeating the Beast Pirates, says, yeah, I know that. What's your point? Sanji says, look, if something happens to me, if I'm not myself, if I'm a completely different person, he basically says without saying, Zoro, if I turn evil, he tells Zoro, I want you to kill me. And this is a change in tone, because you see Zoro's speech bubbles go from yelling like he usually does when arguing to a normal talk, just like normal speech bubble. And he says, okay, not really sure what that means, but I have something to look forward to after I beat King. So, do me a favor, don't die before that. And Sanji says, thank you. Sanji and Zoro had a cordial conversation. Now, I don't think this is exactly the first time they've exchanged just normal words to each other, but the fact that Sanji trusts Zoro enough to know that Zoro would do what needs to be done says a lot about their relationship. The fact that Zoro calmed down and kind of understood what Sanji meant says a lot about their relationship. And it says a lot about Sanji and how far he's willing to go for the crew, but also how far he isn't willing to go for himself. If it means giving in to Germa 66 and dying metaphorically, he would rather die literally. I think Sanji will defeat Queen. We get a nice shot of Queen, going for an attack. Sanji just disappears and then just slams him with Hell Memories, which is the most powerful attack Sanji has as far as I've seen so far in the series. So, Queen's in for it. And if this Germa technology has enhanced Sanji to this point, Queen does not have a chance, in my opinion. Zoro and King will still be an interesting fight to watch, but Sanji's fight isn't going to be a brutal, punch, kick kind of deal. This is going to be Sanji's inner fight with himself. We may see Sanji punch. If we see Sanji punch, he is gone. Zoro's going to have to put him down. I'm calling that right now. If Sanji punches Queen, we have lost Sanji. I repeat, we have lost Sanji. And we know we're losing Sanji because even if the thing with the woman turns out to be a fake out, I'm going to put the images right next to each other, but Sanji's eyebrows, and I know that sounds really silly, Sanji's eyebrows are reversed. And this isn't like, oh, Oda made a drawing mistake, because throughout the rest of the chapter, Sanji's eyebrows are in the same direction that his siblings' eyebrows are in. And one of the things that people noticed a long time ago was what set Sanji apart from his evil brothers was that his eyebrows swirled in the opposite direction. So things are looking bleak for Sanji. And for those of you out there who love Sanji, this is concerning. We know Luffy's going to become king of the pirates. It's One Piece. It's the story of Luffy and his quest to become Pirate King. That's how anime, that's how shonen manga works. Naruto became, Hokage. Ichigo did something to end his series. I'm so sorry. I've never really watched Bleach. I've read it up to a point that I can't even remember, but maybe I'll go into that someday. But we know the stories about Luffy. But Ace died. And Ace was as close to Luffy as any crew member. Oda's not afraid to take that away from him. And that means Oda's not afraid to take that away from us. This is worrisome, but I will stay optimistic, and I hope you guys will too. There's no new One Piece chapter next week, so I'm going to have to find something else to do with my time. But thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.